Welcome back to Donghua Recapped. In today's video I will be recapping Ling Incarnation. The Donghua begins as we see a desolate wasteland. A weird fly-like bug flies through the air as we see military vehicles driving in the midst of the apocalypse. A man called Jeff radios through to someone called Captain Mark but doesn't get a response. Inside of one of the spaceships is an abundance of ash people who are frozen into place. A member of the hunters called Maching scans the place before signaling an army of people a part of the hunters group make their way into the room. Led by Captain Mark, Ranbing mentions that the people on the ship must have died from instant radioactive decay, and Mark says that they were all trying to leave Earth before their demise occurred. She notices the bodies in intimate positions, and another member of the group called Penny says that people could be intimate as long as they're willing. Jeff is finally able to get through to the team, and Mark explains that they're trying to find an exit to the ship. One of the bodies break, which prompts a guy called Donnie to get angry at one of the lower-ranked members. The captain brings them to a halt as they find a storage cabin, so they open it up and walk inside. They find a box that they say they can use, and Ranbing makes a shocking discovery of a huge alien creature with humans attached to it. She climbs up it and Mark catches Maching staring at her. She starts jokingly freaking out and then gets down, saying that she believes it went upwards. Maching tries to use his detector but the magnetic field is too strong, so Mark says that the inferiors should look for anything they can salvage in that room. The superior members head into another room where they say that something isn't quite right about the door as there are big scratch marks on it. The inferiors talk about how many service points they'll receive for looking around, but one of them points out that they're not getting as much as the people holding guns, and then inferior 4068 recklessly starts inspecting the bodies. Ranbing says that the marks don't match up to the alien that they saw earlier, and then Mark hears a noise which startles them. It sounds like an alien crawling through the vent system. The inferior members take a watch off of one of the bodies, saying that they can be exchanged for a lot on the black market. They see some movement in the molted alien skin and hear something moving about until a terrifying centipede runs out, attacking inferior 4068. They get it off of him and try to kill it, but it evades the attacks, climbing on top of another guy. Donnie goes to shoot it and 4068 sees his friend in the firing line, so he pushes him out the way, causing the guy to get shot. Mark commands Maching to get everyone to evacuate, and Ranbing says that she isn't leaving Mark's side. The centipede is still alive and it attacks Donnie, but he eventually gets a shot off on him, killing it. They hear something else moving, spotting multiple centipedes coming out of the molted alien. Penny and Donnie start opening fire on them, but a red substance on them goes up his nostrils, making him see things. They continue to shoot as the centipedes come closer, eventually climbing onto Donnie's head. Donnie is clearly disorientated and sees the ash bodies that were frozen moving toward him, so he starts shooting anything and everything. The inferiors make their way out and run away as the aliens keep giving chase, running into a group of people who are swarmed by the centipedes and killed. Captain Mark saves the inferior members, then him and Ranbing flawlessly defend everyone. Donnie is still heavily affected by the delusions of the ash people moving toward him, so he keeps shooting recklessly, culminating in him accidentally shooting Penny multiple times. Donnie walks out with centipedes crawling on him, and he continues to shoot her dead body as Ranbing points out he has been infected with the scarlet phenomenon. He finally comes to his senses and sees what he has caused, but it's too late for him as a swarm of the centipedes form a pile on him. Donnie tells them to shoot him before it's too late, as he says that he sees something, with a weird monster coming closer to them. The monster appears behind him and bites into him, so they let gunshots fly aimlessly, which is heard by the other group of people who figure they need to hurry up and get out. The inferior's code doesn't work to open the door, so one of the members use a crowbar to pry it open. We see some stormy surroundings where the central lighthouse office is located, where the master, who is called Mogan, tells one of the members to stop being impatient with Mark's team. In the control center of the lighthouse, we see them panicking about the extreme stormy weathers, so the commander, Jingnan, gives them some instructions, and we see that they're on a huge spaceship. She gets a call from the lighthouse master, so she answers and tells him that the hunters are still outside of the control's detection range. She seems to have lost hope in the hunters, but he tells them that Mark will definitely return. One of the hunters uses a stick of glow light to light up the path, and then the monster abruptly jumps at him from the ceiling, killing him and then charging at the group who try to shoot it, but to no avail. It knocks Ranbing out with its tail, and also sends Mark flying. The group of hunters continue to pry the door open and they're successful, so everyone runs out with the collected supplies. Mark commands Maching to not come to rescue him since the aliens usually move in a unit rather than alone. It continues to tear through everyone who stands in the way, and looks sure to kill Mark, but Ranbing wakes up, resourcefully grabbing a rocket launcher and shooting it at the alien, who is visibly enraged as she taunts it. She gets stuck in its grasp, but Mark returns the favor, saving her from certain death as he climbs on top of it, allowing them an opportunity to make a run for it, so they head to the door and narrowly escape as the alien gets trapped inside. But it's not completely safe as it starts bashing at the door restlessly. In the main hall of light and shadow in the lighthouse, we see many men in red robes talking about how people are born from light as the bishop, Sharif, and bringer of light walk to the platform at the front. He explains that humans thousands of years ago believed that they could surpass the gods, but ended up bringing about the apocalypse, leaving the Lord of Light and Shadow to save them from certain doom. His words are powerfully spoken as he explains that everything they see are shadows projected down from the wall. He asks them what they have done for the sake of stepping out of the dark cave. One of the women in a red robe says that she is pregnant for a third time, and another man tells the bishop that he brutalized an old man for trying to restore a father-son relationship. One of the women steps out of line after being detected as an inferior. Everyone is disgusted that an inferior is there, and she tells the bishop that she wishes for a devout superior to have a heart transplant that will save his life because he saved hers. And he asks why an inferior and superior want to save each other. She says that before the current laws were established, they were husband and wife. The bishop says that the lighthouse has no more organs to provide for such a transplant, but she asks if she can use her heart instead. He says that her request is preposterous since the laws have been put in place to optimize genes to ensure a better future for the lighthouse. She begs and says that the Lord of Light and Shadow wouldn't want a superior to die. But the bishop responds by saying that the Lord would rather him die with dignity than see a heart of an inferior inside of a superior. He goes back to the platform and asks if a superior should be saved at the hands of an inferior, or if he should die with honor and glory. They all say that he should be left to die. This causes the inferior to shout at them and call them all a bunch of monsters, leading to her being knocked out and carried out by the Sharif. Hope is running low in the control center, but the hunters finally make contact with them, and they're relieved when Captain Mark says that they made it out alive. They drive their military vehicles through the land, with the spaceship being far away in the distance. The members of the hunters share a combined feeling of regret and despair as they reflect on all the lost lives. Mark and Ranbing say that their discovery is one of the most significant ever, and that nobody will believe what they saw. But that's where this video ends. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.